Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Coffee with Katie. I have this mug today. It's got lipstick on it, sorry. This is Morning Beautiful. It's super cute. I got it at Target. Okay, so today's video is going to be a book haul, and these are just some books that I picked up, whether for me or my husband, in the last month or so, couple months, or things that I just found in bookshops and I thought I'd pick up. I think a lot of these I've been looking forward to and have wanted to pick up for a long time, but never did, and finally bit the bullet. All right, let's get into it. So the first one is Nevermore, the Trials of Morgan Crow by Jessica Townsend. And basically from what I've picked up about this, it's a middle grade about a girl who was born on Eventide, I think it is, and any child born on that day is kind of blamed in the town for everything that goes wrong, and they're just kind of like, well, I haven't read it, so I'm just going to give a strange example, but like, I broke a dish this morning, it must be this person's fault, like this child's fault, because they were born on this day. And so it's just kind of unlucky, and I think there's a curse also associated with it where she could die because she was born on that day. And then a magical stranger shows up and asks her to come to this magical school. So it sounds kind of like Harry Potter, but just a different setting, a different type of a twist, but a magical school. And so I've heard nothing but good things about this, so I decided to pick it up. This one is Shadow Song by S.J. Jones, and this is the sequel, so I actually am picking these up out of order. Winter Song is the first book, and I have had my sights set on that for a long time because somebody recommended it to me, saying that it was very similar to Caraval, like the themes and the magical feeling of Caraval. It's about like a goblin king. So I've been wanting to pick up Winter Song for a while, and I found this for $2. So I went ahead and got this because I knew I was going to want to read it and the first one. So this is obviously the sequel, so I'm not going to give you the synopsis for this, but the first one is basically there's a goblin king in his magical kingdom, and the main character, I believe her name is pronounced Liesel. Her sister is kidnapped by the Goblin King, and so she goes into this magical world to try to get her sister back. So it sounds like it's kind of a retelling. I know I think there's a lot to do with music, but it sounds like it's a retelling of The Labyrinth. If you've ever seen that crazy 80s movie, my sister loves that movie. The next book that I picked up is The Beautiful by Renee Ahdieh, and I have heard people talk about this book, and I've seen it kind of hyped up for a while now. I believe it came out last year, and I know it's about vampires, and seemed pretty interesting, and I think I've heard Olivia Reads a Latte talk about this book. It's set in New Orleans, and I believe that there's a girl's body who's found murdered, and then there's a guy that's a vampire, and she's thrust into this case of trying to solve this mystery. And I'm not really sure how the vampires or the magical elements play out in this, but I'm kind of wanting to keep it that way, and I'm hoping I'm gonna like this book when I pick it up and kind of see what it's all about. The next book I got with this ugly sticker on the front is actually for my friend, and it's Hera the Ninth. She has Gideon the Ninth, and I went ahead and picked this up for her because I was already placing an order. So I just tacked this on so I could get free shipping. So this one is actually a graphic novel, and I'm pretty excited about this. This is Wonder Woman Warbringer, the graphic novel by Leigh Bardugo. So I really like Wonder Woman. When the movie came out, the DC did, it was amazing, and I had such a strong attachment. Like at that time in my life, that point in my life, it was just something that really spoke to me, and so I've had a really strong attachment to that. And I love comic books. Spider-Man's my favorite, and I'm more of a Marvel girl, but comics are really fun for me, and I've been getting more into Wonder Woman, and I did see that Leigh Bardugo wrote a Wonder Woman novel, and I thought it was cool, but I was like, I don't know if I'll ever pick it up, even though it sounds interesting. But when I saw that she was coming out with a graphic novel version, that made me really excited because I've been getting into a lot more graphic novel or webtoon, like webcomics recently. So I went ahead and grabbed this. It was only a few dollars, but I'm really excited, and it looks really cool. And I just love that I have a physical graphic novel because I feel like I've been just reading a lot of these online. And obviously it's Leigh Bardugo, and I've been reading her works recently. And honestly, I don't really know what it's about much, but it's saying she will become one of the world's greatest heroes, Wonder Woman. But first, she is Diana, Princess of the Amazons, and her fight is just beginning. So I'm looking forward to that. The next book I got is Sky Hunter by Marie Lu. And honestly, I picked this book up just for my husband. It sounded like something that he would like, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be reading this, but I might, depending on what he tells me it's like. But basically on the back it says, "My name is Talon. I am a striker for Mera, the last free nation on this side of the sea, are legendary bringers of death, assassins of monsters. and the only thing standing between our home and annihilation. Honestly, that's a pretty good synopsis. But yeah, I just picked this up because I thought he would really enjoy it. And I do have A Kingdom of Back by Marie Lu, but I haven't picked it up yet. So I'm not sure how I feel about this author and her works. Nothing wrong with her, I just haven't read anything about it yet. So hopefully we can look into this and see how it goes. This next one is also a sequel, and it's As the Shadow Rises by Katie Rose Poole. And this is the second book in the There Will Come a Darkness series. I don't know if it's called anything else. I don't know if the series has another name, but I have There Will Come a Darkness up here. I actually haven't read that one either yet, but I'm kind of the person that likes to finish series even if I'm not a huge fan of the first one. I usually give them a chance to see if they get better, and I went ahead and got this because it was, again, really cheap. It was only a couple dollars, so I decided to pick it up, and I think it's really pretty. The next book I got was actually kind of a really cool find. It is Wicked Fox by Kat Cho, and this is actually a sprayed Fairy Loot edition. And I did not have Fairy Loot when this came out, and I actually found this at a Half Price Books. And I was looking for this book. I really wanted to try it, but I was just kind of waiting to see if I could get a good deal, just kind of scouting out. And I'm not going to say it was a great deal because it wasn't super cheap or anything, but it had the sprayed edges, and I thought it was a really cool, you know, it's signed, it's a signed edition. I found it at Half Price Books. There's a little signed part, and I just thought that was a great find, so I went ahead and picked this up since it was already a book that I wanted. And basically the premise of this book, from what I've heard, is that she is a nine-tailed fox, and that she has to consume the souls or like the beings or spirits of men to survive. But then she kind of falls in love with this boy at school and doesn't really want to consume him or eat him to survive, and just kind of how that plays out. So I think that sounds really fun, and it sounds like it'll be an interesting dynamic. And I think it's called, this one's called like Gumiho is what the nine-tailed fox is called. I thought those were kitsunes, but those must be two different things, and I'm just not aware of it. But either way, I think this is going to be a really fun read. Another book that I got was in my Fairy Loot unboxing, and that is The Bright and the Pale. I'm not going to go into this because I talked about that in my Fairy Loot unboxing, but that I also did get this. Another book I picked up was The Court of Miracles by Kester Grant, and this is a retelling of Les Miserables. Les Mis is what I always call it. And I don't know, I've heard people compare it to also a retelling of like Les Mis crossing with the Jungle Book. I don't really know. I know that there's a character named Eponine and Cosette and all of that, so I'm pretty sure it's just a retelling of Les Mis. There's been a couple retellings of Les Mis coming out recently, and I think this one is the one that interested me the most. And let me just show you. So the cover of the UK edition is super beautiful, but let me just show you the naked hardcover because it is stunning. Look at this. Have you ever seen anything more beautiful in your life? Well, yeah, in a second I'll show you another one that's really pretty, but the spine too. Like, this is so pretty. Why can't all books be like this in normal editions? Anyway, that was that one. And the next book I have is The Rule of Wolves by Leigh Bardugo. So I told you I've been going through the Grishaverse series. I read the Grisha trilogy, and then I've been working my way through, I'm trying to work my way through Six of Crows, Crooked Kingdom, King of Scars, all of those. And this is the next installment that just came out at the end of March. And I'm pretty excited. Obviously I don't know a lot about it because I haven't read the first one, but the first one, King of Scars, is up here. That one is following Nikolai Lantsov, and I loved his character in the Grisha trilogy, so I'm really excited for this duology and to see what they do with Nikolai. And I need to show you the naked hardcover of this one. First off, the end pages are beautiful, let alone everything else. They're like a swirled marble. And then, oh, look at this! King of Scars naked hardcover is also super beautiful, but this is crazy, look at it! And the spine's also super pretty. I have a weakness for beautiful books, as I'm sure all of you also do, or can tell. Okay, the last one, I'm not gonna be on this one too long, is The Serpent's Curse by Lisa Maxwell. I bought this yesterday for my husband. It has the receipt in the top. The Last Magician she wrote, this is the third installment of that trilogy. And The Last Magician, I bought him at a used bookstore a long time ago, and he really loved it, and he read The Devil's Thief. And then it was a really long time before this third one was supposed to come out, and it's actually not supposed to come out until April 13th. But I went into Barnes & Noble yesterday and I found a copy, so I went ahead and got him one and surprised him, and he thought it was really great. And this is a chunker. This is like 746 pages. This is a big book. But anyway, I went ahead and grabbed this for him, and he was pretty excited, and I think the cover's really cool too. We actually don't have the second in print, so stay tuned for a book haul in the future as well. And if you don't know what The Last Magician is about, basically it's in modern day New York, and magic is all but extinct, and it's about a thief, Esta, and she's basically stealing magical artifacts and kind of gets wrapped up in a bunch of gangs because she steals something that can manipulate time, and she's like trying to escape from a lot of people, including a magician. So it sounds like a good time, and it is something that I want to read eventually, but obviously he's going to get to this before I do. Okay everyone, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please tell me if you've picked any books up this year, or if you're trying to not buy any books, which is probably a smarter idea, and just utilizing a lot of free resources. I do use Libby and Scribd quite a bit, which really helps out. And if you need any more information about using Libby or Scribd, I'll have their links down below. Libby is a great resource to use your local library and to get free books, ebooks, and audiobooks. Scribd, you have to pay $10 a month, but you do get your first 30 days for free, and it's been super helpful for me to get through a lot of my TBRs in the past and in the future. Let me know if you've read any of these that are in the haul and what your next read is going to be, and I will see you next time. Bye.